Loretta. I just finished adding all of the student and faculty quotes to the article about the huge rally in the quad yesterday. Just listen to this. We insist of Chancellor Elliott that ROTC will never be coming back to the Washington University campus. If Elliott really opposes violence, he must also be opposed to the presence of the military on campus. Powerful words.
The Strike Extra is looking great, Christine. You and the other student life editors have done a great job capturing all the events happening on campus right now. It's inspiring.
Yeah, I think the special issue is looking great too. I just wouldn't exactly call all this chaotic unrest as inspiring.
What do you mean? Why not?
Well, the burning of the ROTC building didn't reduce any military presence on campus, and it didn't undo the murders at Kent State either.
It almost sounds like you don't support the protests at all. If you stand against violence and killing in Vietnam and Cambodia, then you must stand against it here. The best way to protest Kent State is to smash ROTC now.
Yes, what's going on in Vietnam and college campuses around the country is horrible, and you have a right to be angry, but burning down ROTC buildings doesn't stop the war, and it's not going to bring back the kids who got killed at Kent State. It's unfair that I'm afraid to leave my dorm, and the rest of the semester has been canceled due to the strike. And it's also unfair that when Black people aren't nearly as violent, we're treated with much more force. Look at what happened at the Chicago 7 trial a couple years ago. The only Black defendant, Bobby Seale, was treated much more worse than the rest.
You just don't understand what the protests are about. You should consider joining Students for a Democratic Society. Their views and goals are pretty similar to yours.
You care a lot about ending the war, and I care a lot about fixing what's wrong too. Your passion isn't a problem, but it just hurts me when I hear you say that I need to be more enlightened on pressing issues when the treatment of my people is a pressing issue. And our movement is still not over, and will never be over. Were you at the protest last night where the ROTC building was burned down?
Well, yeah, but what does that have to do with anything?
Did you see any Black people there?
I don't know. Why does it even matter?
Yeah, someone's color shouldn't have to matter, but it does. I'm just not as safe at protest as you are. I could potentially end up in jail, and my family cannot afford to pay bail. And if a police sees me in a crowd of white people, they're coming for me first.
I guess that is something you might have to worry about. I'd never thought about it like that.
Yeah, it's new to you, but race affects everything for me. I could never do something like torch a building and not get in trouble for it. I have to live my whole life on high alert. Black people are beaten and killed when we protest and rally for our lives. Even our leaders are often assassinated. First it was Malcolm X, then Martin Luther King, and then just last year it was Fred Hampton, the Black Panther chairman. He was shot by police in Chicago. Could you see why I would be cautious about joining a violent protest like burning down a building?
If that's what you're really worried about, then I can help protect you. You don't even need to be the one going to the rallies anyway. Groups like SDS need more people to help organize.
Yes, you might be someone who looks out for me, but there's no way for me to know that everyone in SDS will. And I'm already part of the association for Black students here.
Why not SDS, though?
I have nothing against SDS. It's just easier for me to be in a group where people are more like me. I've been given a lot of trouble here by white students. Maybe not those in SDS, but It's just hard for us to take any chances. That's actually why a lot of guys I know from back home have joined the Army. They want to escape what's going on.
So, are you even against the war?
Yes, of course I am. What's going on in Vietnam is horrible. But I just think that a lot of young men, especially young black men, think that joining the military will make it easier for them to advance in society, but it doesn't. When they get back home, nothing has changed.
This is exactly why the SDS are so against the draft. It isn't fair that so many young men have died or come back with shell shock when they could be in college or working.
Yes, I hear you. We are both against the war. But I just think that we have different priorities. It's easier for me to be in a group like the Association for Black Students because I just feel safe. And we're shut out of every space that isn't directly meant for us. And we want the same things as SDS and more. Would you want to be part of a group where you just didn't belong?
I mean, maybe that's true. I don't know many other black people, but it doesn't mean that we can't get along. We're on the same side.
Yes, I appreciate your support, but I'm not totally sure that we are. Have you seen the way that these student movements have completely overshadowed the way that the civil rights movement has been seen in the national news?
If they have, it's because what's happening in Vietnam is urgently important, Christine. Hundreds of thousands of people have died on both sides of the war, including many innocent civilians. We can't just ignore the injustice of the war.
They are important. It just seems to me that these student movements are a diversion from the true fundamental injustice at the heart of all of this. And that's the way that Black people are treated in America. And burning down ROTC buildings will never do anything other than distract from that.
I guess I hear what you're saying. I hadn't thought about it in quite this way before.
Well, I'm almost finished with this special issue. You can take it to the printing press.
Thanks, Christine.
Anytime.